Welcome to Love Yourself, the podcast where we break down the reasons why you aren't losing weight and help you discover confidence, self-worth, and resilience all along the way. Weight loss isn't a knowledge problem, it's a thinking problem, and I'm here to show you how to lose weight with your brain, not another diet plan. So as you listen, notice what resonates with you, and if something clicks or you want to go deeper, I would love for you to book a call with me right after the episode. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your relationship with yourself? That must be a really strange question that I'm asking you, but I want you to think about it and answer it because that's going to help you determine your weight loss success mentally and physically. My name is Dara Thomason, and this is episode 260, How to Create a Healthy Relationship with Yourself in the Love Yourself Then podcast. Okay. So what does that mean? Have a healthy relationship with yourself. Even the idea of a relationship with yourself, I remember when I was a kid thinking, are you allowed to talk to yourself? People who talk to yourself, are they crazy? And I used to work at a quilt shop. I was the quilter for hire. So every Wednesday I would bring all the quilts that I quilted that past week, and then people would drop off new quilts, and it was great. I loved working there. It was kind of like my play day. My youngest would, I would take him to a friend's, and I'd have that day where I could just be at the quilt shop and play with my friends, right, at the quilt shop. Anyways, but my boss, who I loved so much, she would talk to herself all the time. And I remember thinking, is that weird or what? And then I realized, well, we are always talking to ourselves. We just usually just keep it inside our brain. But she was just a really oral person, and it really helped her to talk things through. And so I didn't worry about her being crazy. I just realized we are always having a relationship with ourselves. It's the way we talk to ourselves. It's the way that we narrate. We're our own narrator of our life, right? So this is a really important part of having success in life, is realizing what is the way, or how is the way you're talking to yourself? Like, how are you saying things like, oh, I understand that this is hard right now, and I can see that we're struggling, but I'm really proud of you for working this through? Or does that narrative sound more like, what's wrong with you? Why haven't you figured this out? I can't believe we're still struggling with this. When are we going to figure this out? I am sick and tired of doing the same thing over and over. So we have these different studies, and my mom loves to send me reels. It's one of her love languages. And she sent me one recently, and it was an old study done from Japan. It was water. And so when you talk to the water in a negative way and then froze it, it didn't look very nice. But when there was water that had music and nice things that was said, the snowflakes, the ice, not the snowflakes, the ice crystals made beautiful designs. They've done this with, all sorts of ways of that, of showing that positive feedback creates positive results. Negative feedback results in negative results. Think about orphanages where these babies didn't get that love and touch. All of those things contribute. So in this episode, I want to talk about 3 different ways to actually create a healthy relationship with yourself. And the first one is to get a clear idea of what your relationship actually is. So we need to, it's almost like you have a teleprompter in your head, right? Not a teleprompter. It's like you have what's it called? A transcript in your head. Okay. So for every thought you have, it's just typing it all out. And imagine at the end of every day, then they just print off all your thoughts. And then you go with you have 2 markers. You have a red and a blue. The red is positive, the blue is negative, or however you want to look at it. And I would imagine what would be the summary. So let's say you have 60,000 thoughts in a day. How many of those would be positive and how many would be negative? And according to Dr. He's a marriage and he's one of the world's most famous marriage counselors, and they've done a lot of research with um they'll have a scenario where a couple will go into a house that has a bunch of cameras. They actually they put these electrodes on them, and they say, okay, like just do your everyday thing. And so they kind of at first are a little bit nervous, but as time goes, they kind of forget that they're being recorded. And what they've discovered is that in order to have a healthy balance for a marriage, you have to have 5 positive to 1 negative to balance that out. There's actually no such thing as constructive criticism. Here we go. John Gottman. Oh, thank you. Okay, so I can put that link in here with the John Gottman Institute. You can really learn a lot about that. But so my question is, so if we were to look at that scenario for yourself, what would be that balance for you in your own thinking? And this would be a really interesting activity for you to do, because it will show you why you're spending a lot of time feeling bad about yourself, because what you feed grows. So the first part about the first part of this is inventory. So the inventory of your thoughts. Okay, that's the first part we have to look at. Like, how to create a healthy relationship with yourself. Okay, so let's take an inventory of your thoughts. Okay, so the next part of that is, why are you allowing yourself to think that way about yourself? So now that you have this consciousness, I want to remind you that 95% of our thoughts are subconscious. That means that we have 95% of our thoughts are just on auto repeat. So I like to use the example of when you learn to drive. So even though you've driven in a car your whole life, you weren't the one who was behind the wheel. You weren't the one who had to make all the decisions and who was driving and had the gas and the brakes and all of those things. So when you first start driving, it's a lot. It's a lot of having to learn all these things, and it's all up here in your prefrontal cortex, and you have to really your brain wants to figure it all out, right? So it takes a lot of work and you feel exhausted. When I went to French immersion in grade 7 and my teacher was just speaking French to me all day, by the end of the day, I was exhausted because my brain was having to do so much extra work to try to understand what was going on. So with driving, it's the same thing. It can be really, really overwhelming, but the brain, it's so efficient. It's like, don't worry, we're going to figure this out and we're going to start automating patterns. And now we've talked earlier in the podcast about the exact same thing with our families. So we were in this, our family or the responsible adults around us, and they would say things like, people who are overweight are lazy. So now you're writing down the rule book of, you better not be overweight or else you'll be accused of being lazy. Or people who have messy houses are bad people. Now you're having to figure it out of, I make sure I always am neat and tidy. So then always in your mind, you're like, am I tidy? Am I neat? Am I doing this thing? I better make sure I go clean that. If I don't clean that, I could be kicked out of my home. Right? So we now have this new operating manual of, this is how I have to be in order to be acceptable and to be accepted and not kicked out. Okay? So the first step of how to create a healthy relationship with yourself is, 1, take an inventory of your thoughts and get really curious. Why am I allowing myself to talk to myself that way? The second step is, why are you allowing yourself to think that way about yourself? Why are you giving yourself permission to do that? Because would you ever talk to your child or your friend or even a perfect stranger in the same way that you're talking to yourself? Would that be acceptable? Would you ever say to anyone else, "You're such a loser, what's wrong with you?" No, right? You wouldn't. So why are you letting yourself that way? And maybe it's because you have this pattern of, if I use willpower, if I use negative self-talk, if I demean myself, maybe that will cause me to change. And so if that was modeled to you as a child, that in order to get, in order to get attention, you had to be yelled at as a kid, then you're just doing that same pattern to yourself. But what happened when you were yelled at as a kid? How did you react? Most likely you went to food, or you self-isolated, or you just went inward and had kind of like a little pity party, right? Or maybe you went and did something, like went and made dinner because you're trying to navigate your parents and their mood. Or maybe you went and cleaned a bunch of things because you knew that your parents came home and the house was clean, there would be less trouble. Which, by the way, is a really smart strategy. Okay. So why are you allowing yourself to think that way about yourself? And this is a really important way to answer it. Okay. And then the third step to building a healthy relationship is learning how to accept what is and then start to resolve with compassion. So these are some compassionate thoughts that I want you to try on and see how that feels. It makes total sense that you're really struggling right now. I'm really sorry that this is as a struggle for you. It makes total sense that you're struggling with this right now. I'm sorry this is happening. Or another thought that's really helpful is, just because we're doing this now doesn't mean it always has to be like this. We can resolve what's going on and we can create new habits. Our brains are a lot more resilient and neuroplastic than we ever thought. It is we're not too old to change. Other thoughts like, love is always the answer. The more I love, the better I can change. This one's one of my favorites. You take care of the things you love. I'm worth loving. I'm worth taking care of. One of my absolute favorites in all the world is, you are already 100% worthy and you never have to prove yourself ever. So I gave you a whole bunch of thoughts to help you to create a healthier relationship with yourself. Now, I want you to think about this one last exercise. It's called obstacles and strategies. I know I should think of something a little more original, but I want you to write down, what are all the obstacles that you have to have a healthy relationship with yourself? Is it you don't think you have enough time? You think that other people are more important than you are? You think that you've already failed too much, so there's no point in taking care of yourself? Okay, whatever those ones are, I want you to write down all the obstacles. So put me on pause, maybe go for a little bit of walk or put it in your higher brain. And when you're having a shower or doing the dishes or something, they'll start coming, right? Our brains always want to solve problems. So put that question in there and say, what is it? Okay. What are those obstacles of loving myself or to change? And then we can come up with strategies. So if one of your obstacles is, I don't have time to take care of me, one of the strategies could be something like, but when I take care of something, when I resolve my own issues, then everyone benefits. So you could have a list of, like, when I take care of my car and I go and get the oil changed and I make sure that the tires are all done, like that maintenance. Maintenance is cheaper than repairs, right? So you can give yourself a reminder, oh, wait a minute. When I maintain my car will work better. So when I maintain myself, I will work better. So when I go for a walk, or when I connect with nature, or when I sleep better, or when I do my scripture study, or when I spend time in prayer, or when I, um, whatever that is, I'm happier and everyone around me is happier. So that strategy is really effective. So if you read the Bible, like I love the woman of the well, that story, right? You can't fill an empty a vessel. Like she can't serve. So that could be one of the ways that you work that out. But this is be my last part of this podcast is when the healthier you are as a person, everyone benefits. And I was helping someone recently with their marriage, and they were really struggling. And I was able to help them by thinking about this idea. A marriage therapist got this wrong a long time ago, and it's just this really unhealthy idea. Nobody can complete you. Nobody can make you whole. Nobody can, right? So if someone brings you flowers, that's not going to complete you. The only way you can be complete is your own thoughts about you. Okay? Because even if someone brought me flowers, like if my husband brought me flowers, that is not a guarantee that I'm going to feel better. Because I could say, oh, why did you waste our money? Flowers are a waste of money, right? So no one can do that for me. So it's always my thought. So this is what I say. Your job is to complete you. It's my job to make sure that I'm 100% happy. And then it's your spouse's job to make sure that they are 100% healthy. And then we come together and then we have fun. But the more that I take care of my mental health and my physical health, and I make sure that I'm like getting my hair done and and going for runs and like taking good care of my own healthy body, the more I do that, the more I can come to my spouse healthier, happier, more confident. I don't need him to do anything because I'm like, hey, I'm good. I'm complete. Now let's have some fun together. Let's have some connection. And I'm not saying like it's going to be have fun, have intimacy, have good conversations. I'm not always feeling like I'm not needy in the relationship. Like, oh, he didn't tell me I'm beautiful. Oh, I feel so bad about myself. It's like, no, 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 no. I don't need any of that. So I would love to hear your thoughts about this. I would love to hear how you take care of yourself, a healthy relationship. And this is the last thing I'm going to say is this summer, we are having this wonderful experience. It's called Love Yourself This Summer experience, where I'm teaching these different principles and actual tools to help your brain, right? Just like tools help fix the sink or tools help fix, all the things. Also tools build. So I help you with life coaching tools to help fix and build a healthier brain and body connection. And the Love Yourself Thin experience this summer is going to do that for you. And you'll be getting support all along the way. So if you're ready to just start enjoying your life, you don't have to lose the weight first. You don't have to finish anything. You don't have to check off all the boxes before you can have fun. One of the things I say to my clients is I say, go and buy a bra that fits you right now. Even though you're going to lose 20 pounds, go buy a bra that fits you properly. Go buy a nice pair of pants that fit you. You don't feel all weird in, and a shirt that you can kind of feel good in. Even though I know you're going to lose weight later, but treat yourself nice now. And the more that you accept this body and treat yourself nicer, guess what's going to happen? Exactly. You take care of the things you love. And you don't have to keep trying to check the boxes in order to be good enough. You already are good enough. You're 100% worthy. All right. It's been so fun. If you're in the Love Yourself in Summer experience, email me, tell me how things are going. You can share this podcast with friends and you can invite them to be part of this fun experience because this is it. It's our responsibility to take care of us. It's amazing. We don't have to rely on anyone else. Can't wait to see you there. As you're leaving this episode, I want you to take a moment and notice what stood out for you. What did you learn about yourself? What felt true? And where are you ready to start thinking differently? Remember, this work isn't about doing more. It's about understanding how your brain is working right now and learning how to shift it in a way that's always going to support you. And you don't have to do that alone. If you're ready to stop second-guessing yourself, stop feeling stuck, and start creating real momentum in your life, I would love to help you. You can book a call with me and we'll look at what's really going on for you and what your next step can be. I'll talk to you. I can't wait to talk to you.